First Nations from Northern Ontario led march for the land in downtown Toronto on September the 27th. Alongside hundreds of community members and supporters, 5 First Nations from Northern Ontario marched from Grange Park to Queen's Park calling on Premier Ford to end the rise in mining activity on their traditional territories. They're particularly concerned about the Ring of Fire, a mineral-rich area in Treaty 9 territory that has seen significant proposed mining and infrastructure objects. Earlier this year, these 5 First Nations formed the Land Defense Alliance, which are Grassy Narrows, Kitchenuhmaykoosib Inninuwug, Muskrat Dam, Neskantaga, and Wapekeka.
No means no, and today we're going to march with that, and we're going to tell Ford and the rest of Canada and all the industry that's destroying this precious country of ours, no means no.
According to Grassy Narrows Chief Rudy, there are about 5,000 mining claims in their traditional territory alone. First Nations Land Defense Alliance requested a meeting with Ford on September the 26th and were rejected. The Alliance says chiefs invited Ford to meet with them last week in front of the Legislature to sign a declaration committing to the end of activity on their lands without their free, prior, and informed consent. Greg Rickford, Minister of Northern Development and Indigenous Affairs, wrote them Friday on September the 22nd, agreeing to meet with them. But Alliance leaders turned down the offer to meet with Rickford, saying they took it as an insult and wanted to meet with Ford.
We are very displeased with Mr. Ford. We sent him an invitation to meet with us, but instead he trying to send one of his ministers to us, Greg Rickford. We don't want to meet with Rickford, we want to meet with Ford. The reason behind that is because it's Ford who sets the policies for his government, and he's the one that's been saying that he wants to proceed with Ring of Fire and other mining activities. There are about 5,000 mining claims in our traditional territory alone, and we weren't told properly, and actually they were given permission without any free, prior, and informed consent from us. So we're not very happy about that.
The Alliance leaders set up a table outside the Legislature and were prepared to meet with Ford so he could address their concerns, but he did not show up. Nearly 6,000 people marched to stand in solidarity with the Land Alliance to protect their lands and the waters. RPTV reporter Fred Alvarado was there to document the event.
We have another round of applause for his incredible singers and drummers, the Bestigish singers and drummers. All right, we're going to begin by welcoming up Chief Rudy Turtle from Grassy Narrows. We have a warm round of applause.
Good morning, good afternoon. I don't have my watch with me, so I don't know. But anyway, I just want to thank you for coming out to listen to us, and also thank you for your support. We appreciate that. It's incredible. We thank you. We thank all the groups that made this event possible, and we're very grateful for that. So I want to start off by talking about Grassy Narrows. For 50 years, we have been poisoned by mercury Our river system was, there's a Dryden paper mill. It's ahead of, the river is ahead of Grassy Narrows. They dumped 10,000 tons of mercury, and that mercury's been flowing downriver ever since. For 50 years, we've been asking the government to compensate us properly. For 50 years, we've been asking them to help us, but they haven't. There's been some progress, but it's been very slow in coming, and there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. I want to tell you that I was a potential, like I ran in a federal election 3 years ago. That was for Kenora riding. And I was in Thunder Bay. We were stopping there to support another candidate. And as I was there, an elderly man came up to me. He said he used to be a former advisor to these governments. He said they were on a plane heading to Grassy Narrows. And on that plane, one of the government advisors told him, he told the minister that was in that plane, he told him, Mr. Minister, don't worry about this. It will all be gone in 2 weeks. It's just an Indian problem. Well, 50 years later, that Indian problem is still here. It's never been resolved. And 50 years later, we're still raising our voice, and we're still telling the governments, you need to clean the river up. You need to do something about this mercury problem. And we're not going to stop saying it until it's been completed. And now we've encountered a forestry. And about close to 30 years ago, Grassy people, the people of Grassy Narrows, the grassroots people, took it upon themselves to say no to logging. And they were able to successfully stop that. And I hope that we'll continue to stop it. So Grassy Narrows has been fighting for a long time. And we're still fighting. That's why we are here this morning, because we are here to say no to mining. And we want to make it clear. We made it clear yesterday with our friends from the other First Nations. We made it clear, a clear message to Doug Ford and to his government. We don't want mining in our territories. It's a very simple message. Very simple. How hard can it be for someone to understand? No means no. So, that's the message we're sending today to the governments. That's the message we're sending to industry as well. The other thing that I wanna mention here is I'm a bit disappointed. I'm a bit disappointed that our Grand Chief is not here. I'm a bit disappointed that the Regional Chief of Ontario is not here. I'm a little disappointed that the National Chief of Canada is not here. These political organizations were set up so that they could speak up for our people. Where are they? They should be here speaking for our people. But they're not one of them is up front here. Not one of them has even talked to me and say to me, Chief Rudy Turtle, I support you. It's not right. They should be here with us because that's why these organizations were made in the first place, so that they could advocate for our people. But you know what's happened? Many of these organizations have gone into programming. They've got into settlements with the governments. They don't want to rock the boat because they don't want to lose their funding. They don't want to oppose because they don't want to lose their money. There was, I want to tell you, there was a great leader in the South. There was a civil rights leader in the South. He was shot to death for his beliefs because he stood up for his people. And this story, what I'm about to tell you, after he was shot, one of his grandsons told him, he said, "Grandma, Mr. King has been shot." The grandmother told her grandson, that man deserved it because he was a rebel rouser. I've been thinking about that, the word rebel rouser. I'm hoping someday that our own native people, from the native peoples of Canada, that we will have our own rebel rouser. We will have someone that's going to make a lot of noise. That someday someone's going to be strong enough to speak for us and never stop fighting for justice, that he will speak his mind and tell the people of Canada that justice needs to be done here in our country. Yesterday, I was talking about leaving behind a legacy. Can you imagine Dad leaving behind this legacy? Your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren saying, "Your grandfather was a rebel rouser." I believe that one of our young people, or maybe somebody is already standing here, one of these young people, probably one of them is going to be our rebel rouser. Because we need that here in Canada. We need someone strong, someone with conviction that will speak his mind and tell both levels of government, no. No means no. So, as I come to conclusion, I want to call upon all the land defenders of Canada. I want to call upon our brothers in the Rocky Mountains in British Columbia, to the people that are defending their land over there. I'm asking you to join our movement. I call upon the people that live in the plains, Saskatchewan, Manitoba and Alberta, all the native people in that area. I call upon you to join our movement. I call upon the people of the Northwest Territories, our Inuit brothers. I call upon you to join our movement. I call upon you to say no more destruction to our lands. I call upon the people of the Hudson Bay Lowlands, the people that live in Fort Severn, Fort Albany, Ottawa-Obscot, all along the Hudson Bay Lowlands, the Cree people there. I call upon you and I say to you, join our movement. Let's defend our lands. I call upon the people in Labrador and all those other people in the East, the native peoples and other people who care about the environment. I call upon you, join our movement. Let's say no to development together. And I call upon the rest of Canada. I call upon everybody, whether you're native or non-native, it doesn't matter. Anyone who loves the trees, clean air, rivers, those things, if you love nature, join our movement and let's say no to poor government. means no. And today we're going to march with that, and we're going to tell Ford and the rest of Canada and all the industry that's destroying this precious country of ours, no means no. No means no. No means no. No means no. So let's march together this afternoon and let's make our voices very loud and clear as you're doing right now. Thank you for listening. Kitchenuhmaykoosib.
Rudy, group hug.
When Indigenous rights are under attack, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Okay, we're going to invite Deputy Chief Stanley Anderson from Wapekeka First Nation. We give him a warm round of applause.
Yeah, bonjour, wajia gitina. Agiat no gisugane no discuss na mendo de. And this is how I usually introduce myself as my spirit name in my clan. And that is the most important thing to me. And the other important thing is like when my colleague, my brother Rudy was sharing, you know, all the stuff that they went through already. And in my area, it's like 841 miles north from here. We still drink from our waters. We still enjoy our lands. And we will continue enjoying what we love. And we've been fighting with the mining companies for decades already. We've continued saying no, and we will continue to say no. Because our future with the young ones are more important than money itself. And I'd like to acknowledge everybody that's here. Everybody. Come, march with us. Let's fight this battle instead of destroying Mother Earth. Let's protect it. I see a lot of people, and I meet a lot of people. You know, I've stood with these chiefs with this matter that we have. You know, there's different communities that are with us. They have different issues. And one thing we have in common is no more. No more. No more mining, no more destruction to our lands. We want to enjoy the land that was given to us. And we've done this for generations. We've never destroyed nothing. We continued what was given to us, what the Creator gave us, and the purpose. Amigo esquitina. Ahoy, wajia.
When I say land, you say back. Land, 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 land. When I say stop, you say forward. Stop, stop, land, land. Woo! All right. Okay, we are going to start marching soon. Don't move yet. We're going to start marching soon. Just a couple instructions before that. First of all, could the folks who have the big orange and blue signs near the back, can we make some way for them to be able to come to the front? So we want them to be near the front for the march. And we're going to make sure that the folks from the Land Alliance and elders get to be in the front, so leave some space for people to be able to come to the front. We're gonna ask that Indigenous folks be made to have space for the second part behind the march, or sorry, at the front of the march, and everyone else, we're going to fall in line behind. So don't want to see a bunch of settlers pushing your way to the front of the march. You have been asked. All right. Before we get started, we are going to read a list of demands here that has been set out by the Land Alliance. Are you ready for the demands? Yes. Number 1, the Government of Ontario and Canada must commit to end unwanted mining activity on First Nations land. 2, end the free entry mining regime. 3, respect the decisions of the Alliance First Nations to defend their land and protect their people and way of life. We're going to ask that you take out your phones right now and share the post from Free Grassy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We were trending from coast to coast this morning. So take out your phones right now and share those posts. And while you do that, I'm going to give some thanks to some of the organizations. We want to thank all of you who are here today and all the organizations and individuals who helped to make this happen and who have supported these First Nations over the decades. And this is only some of them. There will be more when we get to Queen's Park. 350 Canada, Amnesty International, Banking on a Better Future, Breakaway Community Services, the Canadian Centre for Victims of Torture, Canadian Environmental Law Association, Climate Justice Toronto, Council of Canadians, Community Peace Teams, Canadian Union of Public Employees, David Suzuki Foundation, Decolonial Solidarity, Earth Roots, Eco Justice, Elementary Teachers of Toronto, Food Share, Fridays for Future, Greenpeace Canada, Indigenous Climate Action, Kairos, Lead Now, the Mining and Justice Solidarity Network, the Native Canadian Centre of Toronto, and the Providence Centre, Kingston and Jane and Finch Coalition Against Poverty. Thank you so much. Are we ready to march? Are we ready to march? Yes. Great. call up the next two speakers to come to the soundtrack. That's Cecilia Begg from KI First Nation, head councillor. And I'm also going to call up Janice Folk-Dawson from the Ontario Federation of Labour. And while they're on their way up, we're going to just thank the other organizations that have supported us today. That's Old Pool General Store, Ontario Canada Project, the Ontario Environmental Network, the Ontario Federation of Labour, Ontario Nature, OPSU, Ontario Secondary School Teacher Federation, Oxfam, the Parkdale People's Economy, Patagonia, Public Service Alliance of Canada, Raven, Seniors for Climate Action Now, Showing Up for Racial Justice, Spring Magazine, Stand Earth, the 519, Toronto and York Region Labour Council, Toronto Environmental Agency, Toronto Indigenous Harm Reduction, Toronto Neighbourhood Centres, United Jewish People's Order, the Wilderness Committee, Workers' Action Centre, the YWCA, OPERG Toronto, York and Guelph, Climate Justice U of T, LESH, the Native Canadian Centre of Toronto, Wellington Water Watchers, Nature Resource Defence Committee, and Planned Parenthood Toronto. Thank you for your support. We're going to welcome to the stage Cecilia Begg from KI First Nation, head councillor. Let's give it up for Cecilia.
Good afternoon everybody. And me gwech kakanagdanawa. Umakayayik. Kignoga gipe pumpsayek. Di mawajumnet ba. Ne ko manga bo ijob tagog mexbino. I just want to say that this past week has been very exciting. I know it's been a lot of work leading up to this time, to this day, and we are still dealing with the issues of mining and other industries that want to come and encroach on our lands. And I know that we need to stand together to put a stop to this, and also to create more awareness, more dialogue. We need to speak with the government. And we tried that, and you saw the result yesterday. We didn't get to meet with Doug Ford. Yeah, and it was so discouraging. But of course, at this day and time, I guess we ought to know what to expect from them. They can only come so far, and then they withdraw. And of course, since they are still taking steps on encroaching on our lands and raking our lands, the very lands that we love and live off of, the very lands that our ancestors walked, where we were raised, to appreciate what our God-given rights, the land, the water, the air, the many resources that are bountiful in our land, and also the peace and quiet, that we still live in harmony with the animals there, with nature, so peaceful. And those we still want to hold on to and keep for our young ones, for generations to come. But it will mean a lot of talking, a lot of rallies, a lot of gatherings like this, where we get our youth to be involved, to start learning and to start participating in events like this. It's going to be their work after we are done with doing our part. There will be others, of course. The work has to be ongoing. Never get discouraged. Even when all things fail, we will continue to stand strong and be courageous to take up the fight that was started so many years ago by our elders. They were the ones. They're the very reason why we're here. They struggled, but they never gave up. And they taught us to remain strong and to help each other help our brothers, our other communities nearby who are going through the same issues with mining and development. We just want to say that on behalf of KI, I want to say thank you to the many people who have joined the walk today and also supporting the Alliance. I say thank you to their Alliance communities for the part that they've taken in the recent events here. And we will continue to work with them. We will continue to work no matter what. And we've got to remain strong because there's so much at stake. So much at stake. If things just start to roll in, people bulldoze their way in, that has to stop. We have to remain strong, and we always have to be prepared. And the other thing too is that we were taught by our ancestors, by our elders, never to resort to violence, always to be courteous and to speak on peaceful terms. I believe that was the way our people met the people that arrived on our many lands way back when. They opened the other people, the other nations, not only the other nations but the other people, the Western people and so on. They opened their homes and helped them, never knowing that they were welcoming also an intruder into our lands. And I just want to say that these kinds of practices need to stop. We just have to remain strong and be vigilant in our lands as well too. Because we see they sneak into our lands. They don't even want to follow what they said at that time after doing our jail terms. They said that we had established and reached a place and a time where proper consultation would take place before anything else happened. But that didn't happen. It appeared like it was thrown out and just not and disregarded. But we need to keep on saying no to mining. And we also need to be open and keep asking for proper consultation. In anything that we do, not just mining. And so I'm saying that it has been a great learning experience for me, and I will continue to take my part, do my part as a grandma, and as a land keeper. I will continue to do my part, and I'm sure the others I've heard the others say that too. We've been given this time, this day, and health to be with each other today, to stand up for what we believe in, to stand up for Neskantaga and Grassy Narrows and all the other communities who are going through similar struggles all across Canada and in the world. And so I say, Kitchenuhmaykoosib Inninuwug. I say again, thank you. And I know that we have a lot of people that did all their organizing, the different, and so I just want to say thank you again. And may the Lord bless us. My name
is Sam McKay from KI. I'm also one of the ones that was jailed because of Latinx in Ontario. But I just have one clear message for Doug Ford. Even though he refused to meet with us yesterday, the days of the Wild West where the settlers took over Indian land is over. This is 2003. You should know better. And we're not going to stand for it. We're going to continue fighting for our rights. And if you want to talk to us, you come and talk to us. You're saying that you're communicating with the First Nations. If you're talking to the PTOs, AFN, Chiefs of Ontario, any other PTO, you're not talking to us. We're an independent nation in KI. You come and talk to us and negotiate with us if you want to do something in our community. And if there's going to be no consultation, no prior informed consent, we're going to stand up against it. There's going to be resistance. Thank you.
I say land, you say back, land, 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 land. I say stop, you say forward, stop, 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 land, land, woo! All right, so before we started marching, just wanted to let everyone know that we counted over 6,000 people walking here, marching together. That's the kind of solidarity that we have, and there are more people who couldn't be here today. We're going to call up Janice Folk Dawson from the Ontario Federation of Labour.
Good afternoon, comrades and friends. It is such an honor to be here with you today. My name is Janice Folk Dawson. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a settler, an injured worker with a permanent disability, and privileged to be the Executive Vice President of the Ontario Federation of Labour. The OFL is Canada's largest labour federation, representing 1 million unionized workers in 54 unions. I'm joined here today with Krista Markle, who is the VP for the FNMI Circle at the OFL. In November of 2021, at our last convention, delegates voted to push the government and citizens to enact all 94 of the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action. Today, we use our people power to demand that all levels of government pay particular attention and honor and enact number 92. Action 92 calls for the corporate sector in Canada to enact the United Nations Declarations of Rights of Indigenous People. It commits to meaningful consultation, building respectful relationships, and obtaining the free, prior, and informed consent of Indigenous people before proceeding with economic development projects. Free, prior, informed consent doesn't look like corporations and governments coming in to mine and extracting any resources on Indigenous lands and territories without any consultation. As allies and visitors on these stolen lands, it is our job and duty to add our voices to those of Indigenous people. We must use our economic power and our privilege to force businesses and developers to do the right thing. We must convince others that truth and reconciliation isn't merely a concept, but actions that need to happen and values which need to inform the decisions that are made. It is this commitment and not dollars that needs to be the guiding principles. Labour needs to lead the way in providing arenas for these consultations and these conversations to happen. These talks can only happen when mutual respect is shown and the deserved care is shown to the historical caretakers of these lands and ancestral homes. It is workers and unions who need to find ways to work and move while honoring the promises that we have made to never again steal, damage, pollute, or harm this land. I commit today to using my influence to bring the necessary parties to the table and to work on any solutions. Peace and solidarity.
Thank you, Janice. All right, next we're going to call up Chief Chris Muniz from Neskantaga First Nation. Neskantaga. Thank you.
Hi, Neskantaga strong. We're a small community of 400 people, but we're strong and loud. You see our youth here chanting, "No ring of fire, no ring of fire." That's the message the youth are sending to Doug Ford Doug Ford's corrupt government, Doug Ford's divisive government. They continue to do divide and conquer to our First Nations. They continue to do their oppressive government. They continue to shut us up, try to shut us up. They don't want to talk to us. We invited him yesterday to talk, to sit down and talk to us, but he didn't come. That's a shame. Then he lied. He lied yesterday before I came down here that he said he's very accessible. He returns calls. He's a liar. He never even done that. He never even came. We can't even access him. Yes, Doug Ford is a liar. Doug Ford, do you hear me?
Where's Doug Ford?
Where's Doug Ford?
Where's Doug Ford? Where's Doug Ford? Where's Doug Ford? Where's Doug Ford? Where's Doug Ford? Where's Doug Ford? Where's Doug Ford? Where's Doug Ford? Where's Doug Ford? Where's Doug Ford? Where's Doug Ford? Where's Doug Ford? Where's Doug Ford? Where's Doug Ford?
Let's do another one. Let's do another one. Doug Ford must resign.
Doug Ford must resign. Doug Ford
Must resign. Doug Ford must resign.
Doug Ford must resign. Doug Ford must resign. Doug Ford must resign. Doug Ford must resign. Doug Ford must resign.
Thank you. Thank you. So just to talk about a little bit about my community, where we come from. Those are my youth, and my council member, he's also a youth. So we come down here, and the oldest person, probably about 70, and the youngest person is 1 year and 1 day old that came down here. She just had her birthday yesterday. So I'm a very proud great-grandfather. So those are the people that I fight for. Those are the people I represent. Is the young people that were here, the youth. We have about 40 community members that are here. And half of them, more than half of them, are youth or high school students that come down here to deliver message to Doug Ford and his corrupt government that there will be no ring of fire without our free, prior, informed consent.
No ring of fire! 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 No ring of fire!
The other thing too is they promise us prosperity. They always promise us prosperity. They promise us those things, money, jobs. But look at the other communities that allow mining in their territory. They're still under boil water advisory. They're still living in poverty. I don't see them prosper. That's why we just don't want to let anybody ravage our lands, destroy our rivers. We have one of the healthiest population of sturgeon in northern Ontario on Ottawa Muskrat River. And we need to protect that. And that's where the Ford government wants to build a road. They want to destroy that river. They want to fast track the environmental process, assessment process. They don't want Neskantaga involved.
Shame!
We will continue to stand up to the government. Doesn't matter which government that wants to cross our land without our free, prior, informed consent. There will be no ring of fire. No ring of fire. My community today is under a 28-year boil water advisory, the longest in Canada. We're still under a state of emergency for suicide crisis since 2013, which hasn't been addressed from any government. We still have our young people, our people dying on the streets because there's no housing in the First Nation. We are about 120 homes behind. This is not reconciliation. This is not reconciliation. All right, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. I didn't think I was going to see that much people. And we're going to be stronger together, and we will continue to stand against the government niggers.
When Indigenous rights are under attack, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? All right, we'd like to call up Chief Jack Linklater just to the soundtrack, but I'm going to introduce right now Saul Mamakwa with Marie Stiles.
Good afternoon, everyone. I thank you so much for being here, for supporting the First Nations that are in these crises, but their lands are being used as pawns to be able to create, the wealth that everybody wants. Miigwech for being here. I think the stories that you hear, the stories, the way the First Nations are being treated today, Neskantaga, KI, Wapekeka, Grassy Narrows, and other First Nations that are here. What you hear is the exact play of the colonial playbook. It's 2023. We should not accept that treatment of First Nations.
Injustice.
It's certainly, we can talk about the injustices that keep on happening. The racism, the colonialism, the oppression that continues. This government continues to play those games of the colonial playbook, divide and conquer, making sure that we're not supposed to stand up. But it's very clear. It's very clear. But it's very clear for the nations that are here. The more oppressed we are, the more colonized we are, the stronger we become as nations. And thank you for letting us rise. Thank you for joining us and standing up for the rights for these people. So I'll turn to Muskrat Dam, the leader of the official opposition.
Thank you, everybody. And let's hear it for Saul Mamakwa, MPP and Deputy Leader of the official opposition NDP in Ontario. Saul, I want you to know, Saul stands across from the Premier of this province every single day and raises the issues of First Nations in this place. Yeah, every day. Holding them to account. I want to thank everybody who came out today. Saul and I were able to join the Chiefs yesterday when shamefully Doug Ford refused to meet with the Chiefs here on the lawn. Shame on him. But we came. I want to tell you about a lesson I've learned over the last few weeks. About a week ago, the government decided to back down. They decided to return the land to the Greenbelt. Oh no, let me get it. I want to tell you how that happened, right? We know. It was because First Nations farmers, environmental activists, unions, people all across this province said, you will not do this without us. We will refuse you. We will stand up to you, and we will organize against you. That was the victory of the people of this province. We stood together with First Nations, and we're not going to let them set foot in the North, in First Nations communities, without first, prior, and informed consent. We are so much stronger together. We are so much stronger together. We need to continue to stand with First Nations, protect the land, protect the water, and protect them from this government and their colonial ways. Yeah? I want to also acknowledge my colleagues here. We're joined by the 29 members of the official opposition NDP. We're going to continue to stand here with you all the time alongside, support you like we can. And I just want to finish by saying it is absolutely shameful the way this Premier has been treating the Chiefs, but also the way that the Minister, Greg Rickford, is treating people. I know the Chiefs called for his resignation. We need him to step down. Where's Greg? Where's Greg? Where's Doug? Where's Doug? Anyways, I want to thank you all for being here. I want to tell you we will continue to stand with you. Saul will continue to stand with you. And we're going to win this one because we're going to continue to stand together, right? United. Thank you. Solidarity.
We're going to welcome up Erin Riley from Amnesty International to the stage. Woo! I want to thank our Five Nations here today, our friends from the Grassy Narrows, for inviting us here to speak in solidarity with you in your fight for your recognition of your rights. I want to be clear, Indigenous rights are inherent rights. They do not require government recognition in order to exist. But they do require recognition to be respected and not interfered with. The United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples is a global recognition of these rights. Canada has signed on to UNDRIP, which is the declaration agreeing with its terms. UNDRIP repeatedly includes the essential principle of the free, prior, informed consent of activities on Indigenous land and activities that affect Indigenous communities. Canada ratified that through an UNDRIP Act. They deliberately chose not to include free, prior, and informed consent. They chose not to have any actions that hold them, no enforceable mechanisms to hold them accountable for complying with UNDRIP. Canada is not upholding the declaration it signed on to and the principle of Indigenous rights being inherent rights that the whole global community has accepted. The government of Ontario says the Crown's duty to consult will be met on all projects. Free and prior informed consent is not consultation, it is consent. It is the right of Indigenous peoples to say no. The communities... No! No means 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 no! We can hear the communities that are represented here today are clearly saying no to mining on Anishinaabe territory. True reconciliation means that all levels of the Government of Canada,
Ontario, every province must respect the principles of UNDRIP and respect Indigenous voices when they say no. The fight for the recognition of these basic principles is taking too long. The fight for land rights to be recognized is taking too long. Amnesty International is standing today with our Indigenous friends to tell all levels of government, including Doug Ford, that Indigenous communities are not fighting alone. We have thousands and thousands of letters from all across Canada of Canadians supporting our Indigenous communities, from Grassy Narrows to the Wet'suwet'en people. We also want to thank our Indigenous communities for carrying the burden of this fight, because the fight for land rights with Indigenous people is benefiting everyone in Canada. It is benefiting our environment, it is benefiting our land, it is benefiting our children. I want to say thank you and miigwech.
All right, folks, we have just a few speakers, so hang in there with us. And we're going to welcome Chief Mary Duckworth Caldwell, First Nation.
I'm short. Bonjour. Meridol Kinyakuji Yajik Kitchenuhmaykoosib Caldwell First Nation Donjaba. I'm so proud to be standing here with my brothers and sisters from the north. I come from the most southern First Nation in Canada, Caldwell First Nation, right on the border of Detroit. So I've come up to support the land defenders and the people that are protecting our rights, because us as chiefs can only do so much. It's all of you that give us the drive to help us to do what's right for our lands, our water, our animals, our people, our children. And that's what we're here to do today. So I'm the chief that called on the resignation of Minister Greg Rickford. The tactics of divide and conquer will no longer be accepted by the First Nations. The tactics of not having consultation and accommodation, free, prior, and informed consent, those days are gone. Look at all of you. No more. In this generation, with all these young people here, I call on the government of Ontario to pay attention, because they're coming up behind us, and they're faster, they're stronger, and they're smarter than we are. So be ready for them. But I need you guys to stand with me. How do we keep coming to Queen's Park and getting nothing except being called our Indigenous partners? So together, we must speak to them and understand that we're not going anywhere. We've been here since time immemorial. We were the defenders, and we are the defenders of the land. So I stand with you. And I'll leave you with one final thought. Minister Greg Rickford, at a conference, called us a sub-government, us the First Nations. Sub-government. Out in public. And believes it. So I'm here to say, Minister Rickford, we are not a sub-government. We are sovereign people, and we're here to meet, and we're asking you to do your job. Miigwech.
Give it up for Chief Mary Duckworth. Woo! All right. We're going to welcome Rachel from the Mining and Justice Solidarity Network. Woo!
Thank you. Looking around today, I want to tell you what I see. What I see is Indigenous nations coming together in unity, in power, in strength, and in love to protect their land and water. Let's hear it for that. You know what else I see? I see thousands in Toronto showing the hell up in solidarity. I'm going to be brief. What I want to tell you here today is that in a few weeks from now, Indigenous land defenders are once again traveling to Toronto from very far away to defend their territories from resource extraction, because this shit just keeps happening all over the place. So on October 13th and 14th, leaders from Wet'suwet'en territory, about 4,000 kilometers west of here, as well as Mixtec, Otomi, and Nahua land defenders from Puebla and Hidalgo, Mexico, about 4,000 kilometers south of here. They are converging on Toronto. So why are they uniting? Why are they coming here? Well, it's because the same Canadian company, TC Energy, is trying to build pipelines on their territory without their consent. For shame! These pipelines would contaminate their sacred rivers. They would steal their land. But also, if these pipelines get built, it will mean escalating climate crisis. It will mean an unlivable future within my children's lifetime who are here today, within the lifetime of all the children who are here today. Are we going to let that happen? No! So we're inviting all of you beautiful, heartful people here today to show up again, big and strong, October 13th and 14th. October 13th is an evening event. You can hear in depth from these people who have traveled thousands of kilometers, risking their lives to be here. And on Saturday, October 14th, we are going to show up huge on the streets again to say no. No to colonization of Indigenous land. No to mining and pipelines without consent. We're going to show them big lug and stand with them. Am I right, Toronto? So we've got flyers in the crowd. There's a lot more at the snack table. By the way, there's lots of snacks at the snack table over there. And I'm just going to end with a couple questions. Are we going to keep showing up for land defenders? Yes. Are we going to keep showing up for Indigenous sovereignty? Yes. Are we going to keep showing up to defend the land and water? Yes. I thought so. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. All right, we have one more speaker, and then we're going to do our closing song. We're going to call Hassan up. Woo!
Good afternoon. I want to begin by acknowledging that we are on the lands of the Anishinaabe people. Lands that have been taken care of by the Haudenosaunee and the Wendat nations for generations. And when we acknowledge this, what is it that we are saying? We are saying that these lands do not belong to settlers. These lands do not belong to many of us. That these lands actually do not belong to people. But that we belong to the land. Today we are here with the Land Defense Alliance. What does that mean? This is a historic agreement between 5 First Nations to show up for each other. KI, Wapekeka, Grassy Narrows, Neskantaga, and Muskrat Dams are saying to each other that if one of you is under attack, we will show up. They are saying to each other that we are sovereign people, and that if this government, this colonial settler government, tries to push through projects without any of your permission, we will stand up with you. I want you to take a moment and try to understand the historic nature of what this means. What it means for Indigenous nations to sign an agreement with each other as sovereign people on these lands to defend each other. Because all Canada is an attempt to destroy that unity. For centuries, from time before memory, nations here signed agreements with each other, made treaties with each other, and when they tried to make it with what is now Canada, Canada broke the treaties. Canada broke the agreements. And now these Indigenous nations are not making treaties with Canada, they are making it with each other. They are saying, united we fight. And when we fight, we win. So say it with me, united we fight. When we fight, we win. United we fight. When we fight, we win. United, we fight. When we fight, we win.
United, we fight. When we fight, we win.
So my question now is to every non-Indigenous person here. An agreement has been made between Indigenous nations.
Yes.
Are you willing to stand up with each and every one of them? We know that our governments will not sign on to this agreement, but will we as people? Tomorrow, when Wapekeka and KI stand up for Big Trout Lake, will you be with them? When Neskantaga stands up to protect the sturgeon and their land, will you be with them? When Muskrat Dam stands up to fight against lithium on their communities, will you be with them? And when Grassy Narrows stands up against logging and mining and for justice for mercury, will you stand with them? Yes! This is not just a question. What we heard today from the chiefs is that they would stand up in the face of tractors, in the face of bulldozers, in the face of massive exploitation of their territories. We have seen that when Canada tries to push through a project, it will send in police, it will send in jailers, it will send in surveillance and drones. So when we are saying we will stand with them, it means we will stand up against those things. Are you ready? Are you committed to stop the tractors? Are you committed? If they tried, Doug Ford said he would drive the bulldozer in. Will you stop the bulldozers? It cannot be one of us. It cannot be a few of us. It has to be all of us. Can we be together? Because when united we fight, we win. When united we fight, we win. You have heard today, Ring of Fire will not happen. And you have made that promise by being here. So get ready. Get ready for Neskantaga. Get ready for Muskrat Dams. Get ready for KI. Get ready for Grassy Narrows, because we will not stop. We will not stop no matter what happens. Are you with me? So how are you going to make sure you hear about this? I want you to go to freegrassy.net, sign a petition, add your name to an email address. These projects that I've just mentioned, the destruction of the sturgeon, the Big Trout Lake, what is happening in Grassy, these are multi-billion-dollar projects about to come down on 6 strong First Nations. And when they rise up, when they resist against the intensity of this colonial project, will you be with them? Say it with me, united!
United!
We fight!
We fight!
When we fight,
we win!
We win!
We win!
United!
United!
We fight!
We fight!
And when we fight, we will win!
We will win!
Doug Ford, get ready.
United, we fight! When we fight, we win! United, we fight! When we fight, we win! United, we fight! When we fight, we win! Woo! All right, we're gonna call up Wapekeka Deputy Chief Jack Linklater Jr.
Hello, everyone. I came from Wapekeka, otherwise known Kitchenuhmaykoosib, otherwise known as Wapekeka First Nation. Long ways. I came to show my support for these communities that are here today. You know, if you don't know where Wapekeka is is along the James Bay coast. Right on top is the Ring of Fire in our 2 rivers. Right in the middle of our 2 rivers. That's where the Ring of Fire. And, you know, to this day, the government of Ontario. You know, we experience development. We experience mining. We experience mining in our communities. But today we still face third world countries because the Ontario government dictates what they think should happen to our communities. You know, we cannot even move. We cannot even move to build more houses because of a mining company. Because of a mining company. Ontario, Doug Ford is not allowing that. So we cannot move our community. We still continue to live in third world countries. Just like Neskantaga, we still face a housing crisis with a list of over 300 people in the streets. So how can we say yeah to Ring of Fire? How can we say yeah to Ring of Fire if they still continue to dictate our First Nation communities? And I came to bring a message from our land users of Wapekeka. We will be going to ground zero, right where the mining is. Our land users will be going there. If Doug Ford will be coming out here, well, we're gonna be on that ground zero until Doug Ford meets with these communities and our communities. That is the message I bring forth to these communities. Ajay.
All right, we're gonna welcome up the Vestigish singers to close us out, and then we're gonna stick around. We're gonna have an open mic for folks from the Land Alliance who would like to speak. All right, thank you so much, everybody, for coming here and staying here with us. We're going to invite anyone from the Land Defense Alliance, member nations who would like to speak, to have time here to speak. So we're welcoming anyone who would like to come up from the Land Defense Alliance, who would like to have a moment at the mic.
For you, Neskantaga nonji, at the geared nunk. Ingang Chilean dam wagi pijan, or menigok, Aitikabi Toshank, when the Kiminanji, the Madison, Kenny Jansnanak, no snanak. I just want to share, I come from Neskantaga. I don't call myself anything. I've been practicing my culture, ceremonies, lodges and everything. I don't call myself anything. You will call me what you see in me. So I just want to share this something that struck me this morning when Chief Turtle speak that there's a person coming. He's coming soon, that person. I had a dream. Now I was standing as the sun was going down. And I saw a light coming in from the west. The closer the light came, then it landed in the front of me. It was a spirit. There's this young man sitting on a horse with his spear in his hand. Then the spirit said his name. Then he said, "You will fight towards people, but he won't wait for you. Either you with him or you fight alone." So it's true that that young man, it could be already here, it could be born or early 20s at this time. But I have a message to that person, that spirit. Come and to meet me. I'll have that name for you. So that's the thing I want to share. It's true, that spirit, that young man is here already. So anyways, the other thing I want to say is like, I want to defend my land, my people, my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. I have about 20 grandchildren and about 20 great-grandchildren. So I will defend the land for them as long as the sun shines, as long as the river flows, as long as the grass grows. That's how I'm gonna depend on. And they will continue that. They will continue that. Mia Migats. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marcus Muñez. I'm a First Nation councillor for Neskantaga. So I want to give a round of applause for all the staff here today. Can we get a round of applause? It's a great turnout, this event. As Chief mentioned, I wasn't expecting that much people, but that was a lot of people. So, yeah, it's awesome work, everybody. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about the, growing up in Neskantaga. It's 465 kilometers northeast of Thunder Bay. It's a remote First Nation, and we have a population of 500 people. And on reserve, we have roughly 270. And as my chief mentioned, that we have 100 homes backlogged. That's true, because we don't have homes to accommodate all our membership, and that's why we have people on the streets, homeless, even in the community. You don't think that there's homelessness in these First Nations, but there is, And I feel for Deputy Chief Linklater. He shares about his community, and yeah, it's something it's reality for Indigenous people in communities. So, but it's 2023 now, and it's time to accommodate the First Nations people in this country. It's so yeah, I got my daughter here with me. She's 8 years old, and I have 2 little ones at home. So we came a long way to show support with our fellow First Nations, Grassy Narrows, Big Trout Lake, Wapekeka, and Muskrat Dam. We stand in solidarity with those communities. So, and that's all I want to say. So thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful day.
All right, we want to invite anyone else from the Land Defense Alliance who would like to say a few words. The mic is open to you.
So happy to be here with you all. I've been on this Grange Park area many times in my lifetime. I've been here when my dad delivered some very inspiring speeches about different events that happened throughout the years. Different events that happened, such as this, where we had to stand up for our rights as Indigenous people of this land. And my father delivered some very inspirational speeches. He used to work here in Toronto as the president of the Union of Ontario Indians. Then they changed it to Anishinaabe Nation, I believe. Grand Chief. But that's the title that he held. But he wanted to do more for the North people. He wanted to go up there and work with them up there. So him and about 9 or 11 different other councillors from the Treaty 9 area went up to Timmins, Ontario, and established what was Grand Council Treaty Number 9. Later changed to Anishinaabe. He worked his lifetime up there. They wanted to give him a home up in one of those areas. Could have been Big Trout Lake, could have been one of those areas around there. But he said, my home is down in Amjinam. He says, that's where my home will always be. We've gone through tons and tons of industrialization, toxins in our area. We still do to this day. They pollute our river. We have mercury going through our river as well. St. Clair River or Aamjiwnaang River, what we call Aamjiwnaang River. So we have that mercury down there as well. It's one of the most difficult toxins to clean up once they spill it. And when I was in Trent University back in 1980s, there was a man called Henry Lickers who came and spoke to us about that mercury poisoning up in Grassy Narrows, English Wabagoon River. And they showed a video of some Japanese people in Minamata, Japan, that was going through the same thing, where that mercury poisoning was poisoning the fish. They were eating the fish, and their bodies were getting all jittery and nerve-wracked because of this mercury poisoning. And so the people of the English Wabagoon system were getting this jittery sensations from eating the fish there. So this was way back in the 1980s when I first heard about this mercury poisoning. And now I hear about this ring of fire that they're trying to start so that they can still use that antiquated law to be able to use their squatters' rights, go in there, make a claim, and start mining and claiming that land, taking it out from underneath Ojibwe and Cree's feet. It's an antiquated law that needs to be thrown out. Because that's what Ford is trying to use to be able to get that mining industries going up north.
Resign now, Ford. Step down.
Ford hasn't really done too much for our people.
Nothing.
And he never will.
No, he won't.
And I'll tell you another thing too. Like I said, I've been on this Queen's Park, Parliament Hill in Ottawa, several times with our drum. Singing songs of healing songs for our people. And every time we come here, it's the same thing over and over again. Every government that has been in power has pretty much done the same thing. Use their laws to get what they want. Get our resources. They don't give us anything in return. That's what happened to us in Aamjiwnaang. They took our land there. They said they were going to put the industries up there and to take the money, or face losing it totally without no compensation. And that's what we had to face when we were down there. So this is what the message I want to leave with everybody here. We do need to stay strong. We need to stay grass-rooted. We need to still claim the idle no more and still be together as one. United. Miigwech.
I just wanted to say to Doug Ford that if you're so confident that what you're doing is right, then you come and you stay on these reservations. And you come and you give up your money, your resources, everything that you have, because you're so confident that you're treating our people so fair. Because I don't think you would. And if you are so confident that you're so good, then why is it that you're hiding? So this is my message to Doug Ford. It's shame. It's absolutely 100% shameful. You are making our governance look like it is an illusion, and it's not. And that is, it just goes against all of our belief systems. We're peaceful people and you're taking advantage of it, and winds change. Winds change and that will come back on you. And I do not wish any ill, and I pray, but you know what? There is universal laws that our people believe in with energy, and you are setting yourself up for something very, very, very unfortunate if you believe that what you're doing is just and you don't think that you're exercising some sort of double standard towards our people. You have gotten rich off of our resources. We look at Canada, and Canada is thriving. Why aren't we? Why aren't we? Answer that question to me, because from the time that you came here, you have taken and taken and taken not only our resources, but our women and our children. We're done. We're standing together. We're tired. We're tired of being treated like second-class citizens. I'm tired. And if I have to come back here every day for the next God knows how long, then you know what? I'm at that point because I have children, and like I heard our other chiefs say, we need to leave a legacy. And you know what? It's not about the monetary so much, even though it would be nice considering lots of people can't even turn their damn tap on. If you think it's okay, then go stay up there, vacation up there. Let your children swim in the water. You would not. It's a shame. It is a real shame. And you have hundreds of people that came out here today to be able to reach out an olive branch to you, to be able to recognize the fact that we are not having our human rights acknowledged. These are crimes against humanity. We have generational trauma because of it, and you just sit there in your cushiony little office. The one that you built off of our resources. The riches that you got from our resources. Everything you have on this land that you've taken is from us. And you can't even give us a second. Not 1 second. Because you're better than us? That's all I have to say. Doug Ford.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also follow us on social media, and for more information, check out our website.